Another track here is Demetori Builder over Styx, and this might be the second longest Demetori track, maybe third. Because I can't remember if there's any others. I know Eastern Dreams, the longest one with about 15 minutes or so on it. It's just fucking nuts. But this one is pretty long as well. Given that there isn't too much going on, it's also surprising they could even make that. And I think it's got new arrangements as well in this, obviously, like the entire composition, but this intro as well, it's like epic, clean chorus and metal, or the epic metal rather. Clean chorus is quite relaxing actually. It's got this interesting composition, it's just heavy as hell. It incorporates obviously the chords, palm mutes and pinch harmonic. But she transitions into a bridge section. There's like some more metal bits going on, clean chorus, sort of establishing a groove, I guess, which is more what it's doing. So it's like resetting itself. And after that, it goes on to another sort of transition, which is pretty cool in its own way. I fucking love transitions like that. I've got to practice it more. And then it goes on to the melody, which is incredible. It's quite simple as well. That's the weird thing. It's simple, but it's effective. And then the rhythm as well, just fucking carrying it. It goes so hard. You haven't heard a rhythm like this ever, I don't think. It's so fucking heavy. See it repeat itself after that. There's some more like transitions / bridges. It's more like a bridge actually. And then it goes into the chorus, which is insane in its own way. It's like a build up and it sounds so fucking epic. Again with the rhythm just carrying it, it's just insane. And then sort of after that is a bridge, and then there's like a breakdowny bridge bit. That's hard to describe it. And after that it's like the solo, which is amazing. Also one of the best solos by Demetori, because usually I'm sort of meh about them. They're good, but it could be better, I think. But this one's really good because it's properly melodic and unique. There's different techniques, different things going on. As it goes back into like the main riff, like a bridge actually first, and some more of the verse, I think, and then back into the chorus. And it outros into an interesting thing, like after a bridge. But fun fact about this track though, which is what I wanted to get to. It's the first ever thing I transcribed, other than a few failed attempts long ago. It's the first thing I ever tried to transcribe, because guess what? There was a tab for it on YouTube, but only on YouTube. It wasn't anywhere else, so I thought this might be an opportunity to explore it, to get it onto, well, paper, but technically a Guitar Pro format, and see how it goes. Like learn how to use the software properly. And so I did, and it went okay. It wasn't great, but it was something. It's a good start. And then I remade it about, how many years later? Quite a few years later, I think. And that's because it was simply incorrect. The tab was not great. But yeah, the fact is, like, the first ever song I transcribed is kind of crazy, and then again came back to it later to fix it. So it's like the last song I kind of transcribed, I guess, which is also interesting. It's my start and finish in that sort of category. And yeah, it's quite a fun song to play as well, but really difficult actually, because it requires endurance. Your right hand needs to be good, and your left hand needs to be able to play heavy gauge strings, which mine are not capable of. I will try at some point again when I get my new guitar, but that's when I'll restring my Ormsby to be an 8 string. I'll be playing F-sharp standard, and that'll be great, it'll be fun. I've also got some like E-flat standard arrangements, low tunings to play on Rocksmith. And yeah, also I put this track in Rocksmith as well. Not sure if my CDLC is still there, because to be honest, I lost my account. And I just can't be bothered anymore. If people want to make it, then sure, I'll have no problem with them taking over. It's not really an issue with me. I'm essentially done with that shit for now, until they can make better software at least, but even then I'm not sure that we have time for it. I've got so many other things to do, and I should be doing as well, including the RL stuff. Yeah, it's this track, like, that's really about it. It's one of my favourite Demetori tracks for obvious reasons. It's just heavy, and it also inspired me to get an 8-string actually. I forgot to mention that. I almost got an 8-string because of this track, because I didn't know back then that it was. I thought, okay, it's just a low tuning for a 7-string, but it's not. I think it's in a E standard, or is it F sharp drop E? Was it F sharp actually? I better look at the tab actually. Demetori, if you remember Styx guitar player, but someone's probably edited it by now. Surely. Nope, mine's still there. Wait. Hang on, that's not mine. This doesn't seem right. It's got new arrangements, which is good, yeah, drum kit. Has to be said, that's definitely approved. Probably built upon mine. Yeah, it is actually. It's like copied from my old one, which is incorrect, because there's no chords here. It's supposed to be chords at the beginning. Yeah, what's the tuning? F. Okay, F standard is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely almost inspired me to get an 8-string, which I didn't, sort of luckily. Yeah, it's definitely an arrangement for sure. I wonder what happened to mine then? Surely it should still be there, right? Oh, the fuck? I don't know why there's not a second version. Oh, it's because it's named differently. Mine's called Hijacked Retool. And yeah. Did I actually update it though? So that's like the full name, Hijacked Retool View of the River Styx. Yeah, it's probably updated. Mine is tuned to F sharp, actually. Which I'm not sure if it is correct, because it's mainly because of the breakdowning areas, and also later on you get sort of open string thing part, I think. During some of the breakdown, I think it's such an interesting arrangement. There's so many things going on. Yeah, I don't really know what to add, but that's essentially it. I think I fucking love this track. Could probably play it again at some point. Yeah, let's move on to the first topic. Well, this will be interesting to talk about because I'm currently watching The Boy and the Heron, which is a Studio Ghibli movie. And I have to say some things about Studio Ghibli that, after seeing a short on Miyazaki accepting an award, I don't know when this was, but there's so many things to just compliment with Studio Ghibli. It's probably one of the only studios out there, not just animation, but also anime and, adventure. That's like a main thing. It's about a sense of wonder and fantasy, and they do it like nearly perfectly every time. Yeah, I've only disliked a few like movies there. Like I didn't like Howl's Moving Castle, for example, because they quite obviously cut a lot of content in it, and I noticed it without even knowing what it was about. I'd never heard of the books, I'd never even seen them. So it's just very strange. And then, they just do fantasy so well. Spirited Away, Laputa, which is probably one of my favourites. Then Porco Rosso, just not really fantasy, but it was kind of cool as a concept. I really liked it. There's even like Princess Mononoke, Ponyo. There's even that one with the cat girl, which I kind of liked. But it's one of those things, Studio Ghibli is just very special in that sense, and the only one I remember I disliked, Grave of the Fireflies, very fucking depressing, but good movie otherwise. Then there was this drama one with like a romance story, And I think I only managed about 30 or 40 minutes before I thought, you know what, this sucks. Because it's not my thing, I didn't like it. So yeah, I just kind of was like, yeah, let's skip that. And you know, you're going to find that anyway, regardless of where it is, because it's not even the thing that you're used to with Studio Ghibli anyway, so it's quite an unusual thing to see. The romance drama, like what? That's not Studio Ghibli. If you had to go through their catalogue of stuff, I've picked it up actually, like, I've seen every movie by the way, and everything that they made. You'd see it. So where are we? Castle in the Sky was good, Grey of the Father was good, My Neighbour Totoro good, Kiki's Delivery Service was good. Only yesterday I have a feeling that we'll see the high school drama. What genre was it? Is that a genre? Genre. Don't see any. Looks like it might have been Poco Rosso. Ocean Waves, that might have been actually. A coming of age romantic drama, yeah, that's it. Pompoko, I don't remember. Princess Mononoke, yep. My Neighbor Yamadas, what? When did they do that? Hang on. It's such a show with like 1,000 episodes or something. No. Not sure. Spirited Away, 2001 that was, Jesus. That feels like it was longer ago. The Cat Returns, Howl's Moving Castle, Tales from Earthsea. I barely remember Earthsea actually. Remember it had like a cool fantasy element. That was like a massive place, but that was it. Ponyo, Ariete, which I thought was probably like a step back from Poppy Hill. I don't remember as a drama though, so probably not. The Wind Rises. Oh, I barely remember this. Tale of the Princess Kaguya, I don't remember. When Marie was there, I don't remember that. Red Turtle, also don't remember that. Earwig and the Witch, I tried it, I think, but I don't know if I liked it. It's like completely 3D and CGI, so it's quite unusual. Also known as The Boy and the Heron, 2023. But yeah, here's the thing though. Studio Ghibli is just really talented for the art style and story direction, where it goes with it. Because it's obviously like a great sense of adventure, and that's what's so amazing about this. It's not just like a nostalgia thing, even though I'd never watched them before that. Fun fact about that. And even then, like, My Neighbour Totoro was probably one of the most mid Studio Ghibli movies there was, and it's like people's favourites. And I just enjoy them a lot for what they do so differently to others. You know, where Disney and Pixar are trying to make strives and like CGI and make some goofy story, Studio Ghibli is literally exploring the most fantasy elements you can think of. And yeah, it's really commendable. But it gets even better when you consider the fact that the art style really contributes to that. You really get that sense of it, even with crazier things like Spirited Away, which had some pretty insane moments. That was the other one. Probably the Buddha actually. Castle in the Sky had some crazy like steampunk themes to it, which was really good. It's surprisingly unique, especially for an anime. It just had so many these good things going for it. And it made me think about this short I saw recently, where he was obviously Miyazaki accepting an award, and the subtitle of it above it literally said, like, this is one of the only directors who doesn't sexualize his underage characters, which is like, yeah, like, holy fuck. It's just crazy that he is actually one of the only people who doesn't do this. And it's just crazy to think about, because how do they even get away with this anyway? It's like whenever I watch an anime sometimes, or it's even like one I want to watch a movie actually. I think it's called like Project Echo. Yeah. there's like some interesting art directions, but unfortunately they keep sexualizing the characters there. And it's like, why? You don't need all this fan service, and Studio Ghibli even proves that, honestly. But the fact it's so different, and it feels also quite friendly to a Western audience too. It's just really unique. And I even saw like recently actually, there's on the subreddit actually, I was going to ask about an art book because I'll talk about the art briefly after this. But someone posted a picture of a screenshot actually from My Neighbor Totoro, I think it was, and there's like a sandal in the water, which implies something really fucking dark, according to the description anyway. Apparently a child might have died there. Like, what the hell? How many of these details are there? It's just shocking as well. Like, you can discover new things every time you watch it, and this all leads into the art aspect of it. Because the art is unique. You'll see they did like watercolours and stuff before. I'm not sure if they do that now, but watching The Boy and the Heron, it does look like they still do. And honestly, the artwork just makes me want to fucking cry because it's that fucking good. I get chills every time. And even the art style and animation in The Boy and the Heron is just, yeah. Also, I think it's peak what I've seen, but even in the older stuff, it's just insanely good art direction and ideas which just make you jaw dropped. It's just so unique, and if you were to get a compilation of, or even an art book of all this stuff, all the background art, all the characters as well, you'd just be jaw dropped. I don't think there's any sort of art style like this out there. Obviously, watercolour's been around for a while. A lot of animes actually use it. I don't think there's anything quite this detailed. It's one of the things I see consistently. And look at The Boy and the Heron, I can't even distinguish which colour is which. Because there's so many different types of and variants of colours used in the technique in the backgrounds. And even in the interiors as well. Which is usually where animes and movies, or even just animations, will skimp. They'll just brush over it. Yeah, it's not really a big deal. And in Studio Ghibli movies, it's always so detailed. It's actually got some insane details. It's really commendable. There's really nothing out there quite like Studio Ghibli, which again is also really sad because there's so much potential with other studios out there. Yeah, like Ghibli literally doing the thing that others don't, which is a shame, really, because you wish that others would be trying this sort of stuff, would be going this length to make it as good as they can, make it the best they can for that matter. Obviously, that's down, which is unfortunate. So yeah, like what do I even add? Like Studio Ghibli is just amazing consistently. It does make me curious about what their next film might be, like if they do another one. And also, that's the thing that subreddit actually brought up. I saw, but what would happen to Studio Ghibli if Miyazaki retired? And I haven't looked into the discussions, but if I had to make a prediction, I think they'd still continue, but they might try a different direction, which obviously will probably kill the studio, but I'm not gonna fault them for it, to be honest. We've had many years of Miyazaki, and it should be essentially his legacy that he's obviously got there. It should keep that as it is, rather than try to build upon it and try to replicate what he does. Because obviously, everything he's made is just so sacred and special to people, and it matters. A lot of people will no doubt just be really influenced by that. It's so fascinating. Yeah, it's really nothing like Studio Ghibli. has to be said. I also just love the fact that the movies tend to be quite child friendly. Like, it's weird because I know you get some adult themed anime movies every now and then, shows, but sometimes you get like shonen and stuff, and you know we've got Studio Ghibli here aiming for literal fantasy and comfort in a way. Although there are parts unsettling, obviously, like Spirited Away was quite unsettling in areas for sure. So there's some aspects to other things that are, like Grave of the Fireflies, no doubt pretty dark and heavy movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I could only watch it the once, I think. Yeah, the ending was enough to break me. Yeah, screw that. But yeah, I don't really know what to add, to be honest. That's really it. Yeah, I love Studio Ghibli. It's that time again, unfortunately. This offer came about because of a post I saw that I didn't actually read with enough. It was on also short someone saying about the use of AI, and you know, it got mass downvoted, and I have to say that regardless of what its content is, I think there is sometimes a justification for it. Not the way that we have it now, where it's corporate owned and stuff, but I mean open source, personal use with obviously permission to use it. So that's the important thing. If someone was using it to obviously set up like scam calls and shit, that's obviously evil and that needs to be stopped. But you know, in this current climate, we literally need a way to actually use it for specific reasons like mental health or even physical health. There's different ways to use it. You know, if you, for example, an elderly person or just someone who can't use their hands very well, having it on your phone or as like, you know, Alexa sort of thing, that would be useful for you. And as long as it's not like, again, corporate owned, this is the important distinction, that's generally fine. But when it is corporate owned, it's kind of shitty. It just sucks. Because when it's corporate owned, you don't control or own anything. That means that your AI can just go and do whatever it wants. It can automatically sign you up for spam emails or things like even just giving out your phone number. Well, this is a problem with corporate owned. They're just not trustworthy. And it even leads to a scenario that I've come into, again, regarding artwork, because at the moment I'm finishing an animation, I'm doing the filling and stuff and seeing the actual result. And it's kind of uncomfortable to look at because I never make anything that's any good. You know, it just always has this issue with it that I cannot identify when I'm initially making it. And I'm not talking about like AI being able to pick up, I'm rather talking about preventing these problems to begin with. So we're speaking about being able to well, make it for me in a way, but with adjustments that I can do that's within my skill set. Because I have something that's possibly called micrographia, but it doesn't seem to be the exact symptoms, and also it's not even well represented. Like, I actually haven't found a single representation of my issue online. It's like impossible. Yeah, I've looked it up several times. I've looked up why does writing go from big to small. Because I've had this since school. Whenever I've been forced to handwrite, it's often been unreadable and goes from big to small. And as you can imagine, that's caused me to lose marks and not be able to get my full grades. The thing is, I think a lot of teachers and teaching assistants were aware of that, so they're actually trying to prevent me from getting a job, which was, I don't know, is that justified? Probably with my issues and probably them even potentially knowing that I'm anxious. It's probably a good idea in the long run. But I would have wanted this to be diagnosed either way. So yeah, it just wasn't very good in all honesty. But the way that leads me again is how I'd use it to not necessarily write for me, because I can keyboard type just fine. It's actually more doable to type things than obviously handwrite. You know, if I had a typewriter or a mini one or something like that, it'd probably be much better. I don't know. But I can handwrite, it's just really fucking difficult and it requires the right conditions, which I'm not even aware of what they are. It just happens. Literally, I can just write terribly one day and then the next day I'm writing really neatly in a way that I've never written before, and I'm like, wow, the fuck, this is unusual and this shouldn't be happening, because that is just so out of the ordinary. It isn't supposed to happen, from what I'm aware anyway. So what's like the other thing here? I was mainly referring to like artwork, and I'm not sure about music. I don't think music really has many issues, just the cognitive ability of like being able to do a music theory. But in terms of artwork, I do see it myself. I see lines being drawn quite poorly, I see the perspectives being all fucked up, and I think this is also important to address to get the issue solved, and they gotta fix that bug. There's only some powerful hooks that doesn't actually fucking triple semicolon. Yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult. But the thing I'll think of was possibly an AI that is locally hosted, obviously. But I sort of feed it both the artwork I want to make and my sort of abilities, the things I kind of appreciate and do sort of have like a, oh wow, I made that sort of thing, happy with it, satisfied. But I need to train it to obviously make those, so obviously I'll feed it something like Studio Ghibli backgrounds, obviously it's my main inspiration for backgrounds, and maybe some like screenshots from anime. But the other thing is with characters, and with characters, all I want is just simple anime. Like, that's it. I don't want anything fancy. I've seen a lot of fancy anime artwork and I'm thinking, that must take a lot of effort, but I don't want to do that. In fact, I want to just go on to making literal comic stuff, like manga and comics, whatever. It really depends. For some reason that seems impossible to do. Especially because there's no access to a proper AI, again, as I said. People, I think, like, look at the artwork I've made without it and think it looks fine. But it doesn't though, does it? What the fuck are you on about? It's like anyone could spot the flaws, and whenever I point them out, people are just like silent. It's like, no, we don't have anything to say about that. What the fuck? It's so weird. And I'm just never satisfied with this, so then it takes a toll on my mental health. Which is why I think there's again a role in having at least like generative AI to help with the workflow that I have. So, you know, it could generate something, make a few mistakes, but I'll repair the mistakes, and that's where I'd be with that. Also, if it's like a background image, it might be harder, but characters, it's fine. I can deal with characters having a fair few mistakes or whatnot. So that's really what I'd want to do, and that's why I find there's a use. But there's also this other thing I realised recently. It's also on a Lewis Wilson video. For some reason, he's a shill for AI. I don't know why. It's very bizarre. I'm not sure if it's like sarcasm or something. I'm not detecting, but there is one thing with at least chat AIs that I think would be useful, and this would kind of prevent certain things. Like if it can scan exactly what I'm writing on the internet or like a Reddit, I think it can prevent me from getting into a certain amount of trouble, let's say, but whatever it is. But I really think sometimes my lack of being able to articulate things and express things can sometimes be a detriment, and even worse, it can be something that gets me again kicked off the website again, as they keep doing, which is stupid. Because the ban I had the first time around was completely unjustified due to the issues I have. And then the subsequent ones, which have been because I've had to make a new account because they banned me on my first one and won't give me my first account back. Like, it's an entire fucking fuck up, but it's their problem in the end, it's not mine. I haven't done anything wrong, I've made my case as well, so what? There isn't much I can do about that. Yeah, I don't know, but perhaps scanning anything that I'm about to write down, if it could pick up anything that sounds a bit kind of, maybe that's not a very savoury thing to say, or maybe that's like in your meltdown state. It really depends. It could just scan the types of wording or the implication, something like that. It doesn't even necessarily have to be AI, it could just be picking up on patterns and stuff. And that's where I feel it'd be pretty useful. And yeah, like people will stupidly say, "Oh, just let it happen," and then I get these issues again. Get more mental health problems. Like, great, thanks. That was the last time I listened to a person. I guess that's fucking stupid. People clearly don't understand humans in any way, especially autism. It's completely fucking ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know what to add, but that is essentially the gist of it, well, all of it. But I really think a client side anyway is probably the best way to go about it, so not like a data center, but an AI generator that can run locally. I don't know how you'd go about it exactly. Again, open source would be the best option, and being able to use it offline as well. And also you're using your own power, your own hardware to do it, which is obviously important in this day and age because companies are scumbags and they build on poor communities for the data centers. Which is why we don't use data center AI. It's shit. It will always be shit. And to use it is simply greedy and makes you a fucking fascist. I'm not using that word again like anything else, like it's a trend or something. It literally means you're a fucking fascist. You're on the side of them. The people who seek to oppress and completely fuck people's lives up, make them suffer. Hell, even on the side of paedophiles, so let's throw that out there because that is literally what it is. But yeah, anyway, haven't really got anything else to say. That's pretty much about it, I think. So AI has its use, but only if it's comment side. Other than that, it's evil. So yeah. Well, I was right, it seems. Again. What the fuck? I just don't understand people sometimes, and it also just disappoints me that Charlie had a completely different stance on this. It's just fucking absurd. So anyone remember the worker who committed arson? Well, obviously set fire to the place, almost killed some workers, almost, well, actually did cause a lot of damage rather. As I predicted, it was to do with not being paid enough, as he was saying. And someone did some research on that recently, and apparently he was getting $21 an hour, which averages out at about $43,000 a year. So you might think what the problem is. According to the poster, it's $85,000 a year to be living comfortably as a human being. Just a single human being. That's literally how much we cost in the economy. And yeah, like obviously this shit is justified. It's literally half of what you should be getting. And it's so fucking ridiculous. And they're probably not even getting anything like sick pay or even like insurance because of obviously the type of work it is. And they're working in a warehouse and they have to obviously be careful. Like if they're carrying stuff, if they're tracking things even incorrectly, that's going to be on them. Although this was probably a delivery job, wasn't it? I can't remember actually who it was. He's either working for the warehouse or the delivery driver or so. But this is what happens. This is, as I said, the world that we're going to live in. People are going to get fed up of being underpaid. most billionaires reap profit, and this shit's gonna happen more and more. And we have no control over it because guess what? The control is in the hands of the government, and in the US's case, it's the oligarch. It's Trump. So, yeah, this is going to happen more and more, and as we move on into the future, people are going to report it as well. Because it legitimately is the only thing you can do. If your life is already ruined, you're going to a food bank, you're living in a car because you get $43,000 a year, which by the way won't even pay the rent. Like, yeah, you're going to go fucking mad. You're not going to be able to survive that. Because rent also includes other bills. It includes many other things. Like, trying to calculate my own wage for a moment. So I could do it on a calculator. Like, I barely get anything to spend on myself, and yeah, I get a bit more. So, let's calculate it. So, that's 12. Yeah, this is about rightish, but then there's a bit more, so I get about almost the same amount, I think. But some of it doesn't obviously go to me, so it goes straight to whoever I'm paying. But that's the problem. You get into a situation where it's really hard to get by and live, and then it just becomes problematic. This is why people start relying on food banks to feed themselves, even if they don't seem like they need it. This is why. It's either rent or food or something else, even like a necessity, like a TV or an Xbox, which is a necessity through entertainment. Because you do need these things to stay focused and enjoy life. Yeah, to motivate you to actually bloody work. It's just so fucking ridiculous that people couldn't even defend this. Defend the low pay. It's so bad. It just doesn't really make any sense. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else there is even to add, but I don't really know. I pretty much covered everything. Like, minimum wage bad. Minimum wage causes problems, and this is the other thing. Because it's dangerous. Yes, and it's a dangerous bit of knowledge that is almost forbidden from my perspective, but now that it's happened, it's kind of in the public, and honestly, I can't really disagree with the guy. I can't say he did something bad here. Because objectively speaking, there is nothing he can do. Whether he shuts up and puts up on the job, nothing changes. And the fact he's done this, nothing changes either. But, you know, he's already lost everything near and dear to him anyway. Like, because obviously he has less fucking pay, and you don't even know what's going on in his life. He might have children, he might have a family, and might have had a family. But when you lose all that because of this terrible pay, what do you fucking expect is going to happen? It's a shame that the public even views this guy in a bad light. Because, yeah, whilst he did put people in danger, it's wrong. He was absolutely justified. Regardless of whether it's against the law or not. Because at the end of the fucking day, there is nothing worse than low pay. Like, what do you expect? His life's already ruined from the lack of pay, and you also have to remember, like, people are like pulling the rug underneath those with like mental health issues and other disabilities. So just imagine this, like, if I was in that situation, yeah, I could probably do the same thing. Because I'd have a meltdown one day, I'd ask for more pay, and then I'd get told no. And then at that point I'd be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to cause more damage then. You're just pissing me off. You're causing so many problems. You're making it impossible for me to get by. and then I'm breaking my back for this crappy amount of pay. I break my back enough living on benefits, and that's saying something. It gets really fucking hard mentally speaking. People don't realise this. They think it's like a blessing if you can be paid like below minimum wage and still live in a house and stuff, but it's not as luxurious as you think. And to be honest, like, I think I live worse off in some cases than even some immigrants. Has to be said. There's something I was going to say about immigrants as well. Sort of like a response to people. So again, I roll these like debates and simulations in my head about how people would respond to these things, how they'd view them, and obviously what they'd say exactly. And one of the things that came to mind, really enough, was about how people essentially view immigrants as less than human, or not human at all, which is a problem. Because this is why we have issues. When you start sacrificing the idea that a person is a human, and we just start to lose sense of reality and morality, for that matter. And you've essentially lost the argument. But the thing I was thinking of is when people vote reform just to address the immigration problem, what do you think is going to happen? Because I already know what's going to happen. There's going to be more immigration. There's going to be immigration, like enforcement as well, to essentially stop them. So a nice too, as I said. But then you're going to push people away from here. So your patriotism has now excluded everyone else, your nationalism, whatever it is. It's now pushing people away, your own people, and making it miserable for them. So you've essentially made the place worse. And then you got them immigrating somewhere else, because they have to leave the fucking UK to find a better life, because it's essentially a war zone. Like, what do you expect? Like, this is like reform UK. It's literally what it is. That's what I have to bring up as well, and then when you're not happy with it, because it will affect you, by the way, what do you think is going to fucking happen to you? Are you going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, it's fine, let it happen, it's just a bit of politics? But you won't. It will end up trying to find a way to get the fuck out of here, because it's so much of a hellscape. It's so bad. It's so much of a hellscape that you literally just do not want to be here. It's actually incomprehensible what goes through people's minds with this. And the fact this is just to address one small problem. Like, immigration isn't even the biggest problem. And then also, what if they're tourists? It's the other thing I've noticed with the trend recently. People complain that there are too many foreign-speaking people and too many people bringing their own like faith and ideas here, when the reality is they could be tourists. They harass foreign people on the street, and look, the fuck is wrong with you? These could be tourists, and I've seen families harassed by these people. It's just fucking insane. And again, it's like the Reform UK idea is to harass people who don't obviously live here, which is not really hospitality, is it? That's not showing good sportsmanship or even patriotism. I argue it's just showing hatred and fascism. But again, it all ties to this, and where I'm sort of getting with this is with the obviously the warehouse stuff and also minimum wage. Because you'll get more of that with Farage. He's not going to cut immigration to essentially solve this imaginary problem that is being overrun by quote-unquote immigrants, which we're not, by the way. Look at it, look at the evidence. He's just going to make the place worse. And then we'll get more of these warehouse fires, we'll get more people responding quite negatively and even violently because of it. It's just fucking ridiculous, and then what? They're going to scapegoat the immigrants, and then people are going to realise that actually it's not the immigrants, is it? It's Farage. It's whoever's leading the country now. It just backfires. It's just fucking insane. And people want to believe this because of some fairy tale they concocted in their head. It's just... what? It's just ridiculous. And then people like me who are on benefits and rely on it won't get benefits anymore because guess what? They've taken it the fuck away. Like, great. Like, thanks, I guess. And now I can't live because you just wanted to get rid of immigrants rather than help support people like me. Help support the disabled community. And you also got what Farage said on like SEN, special needs, essentially, special educational needs, and how dystopian it is. He essentially doesn't believe in it. He doesn't think that it should exist because he wants like a master race for the types of people that he supports and believe him. That's like a massive fucking problem. Jesus Christ, and things can literally only just get worse from there. Imagine if he did actually get in. Like, it's just gonna get so much worse. Again, more of these problems come up. You're gonna see delivery services hijacking things, you're gonna see gangs hijacking delivery services. It's gonna be fucking chaos. This is stuff that will happen, by the way. It's not an exaggeration. It just will happen. It's like a fucking game to these people like Farage and even Labour government, Keir Starmer at the moment. It's just nuts. And then you'll be overrun by Israel, who by the way isn't even on your side. They're just making a joke out of us. It's just, I don't get it. Just so much stupidity at the moment, and at some point I just want it to happen. I want it to be over and done with. See what happens. See the trouble it's causing everyone. So people will realise eventually, you know what, this sucks. As we've warned many times, so it will. It'll let it happen, much like it's happened in America already. So people can actually wake up and fucking see it. It really is. Just so sick and tired of it. I don't really know what to add here. I've pretty much touched on everything. Yeah, that's about it, so let's move on. Just reminding myself of something funny and annoying. As we said, yeah, there's a thing about Netanyahu recently, who's being a Yahoo again. It's complete fucking wrong. As if it wasn't bad enough, he has to do something stupid again, other than the war crimes. But he said recently about people who sort of make fun of him or Israel should be arrested. Just like, what? It's literally anti-free speech, and there are even crazier things about this that do sort of get to me. And that's basically how people are, you know, their opinion of Israel has been very sort of, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but like not positive. And people do know that what he's doing is war crime. Or war crimes rather, against obviously Palestine and Gaza, and even Lebanon as well. So there's all those things happening, and you know, for some reason the UN isn't even arresting him, which I don't understand because this is a national emergency. The literal fucking war criminal running rampant, basically repeating things that happened before. That's just repeating history. Absolutely genociding the population because of religion. Yeah, I've seen it before. So I don't really know why nothing's been done about it. But yeah, that post about arresting people who, again, are posting negative things online is just so fucking ridiculous. There are bigger problems in the world, you fucking old shit. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Arrest people for a few words. So I could say the most fucking disgusting and vile things, and what? What's it gonna do? Is that protecting anyone? No. So what's the point? It's similar to how people like say death threats, and this is why they get away with it, by the way. They only say this, but they don't act on it, and they just do it for attention. Problem is, if we arrest all them, you're putting people in prison for essentially doing what equates to nothing. Admittedly, it can cause like physical harm depending on the person it is. You know, if someone is maybe sensitive or has some mental health issues that can really play up. But as it currently stands, shit like this it's just so minor. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on. Everyone criticises each country for their own problems. I've criticised Ukraine, I think, before anyway, for not having proper like gay marriage laws. I'm pretty sure it's like well, it was rather a bad thing. Apparently they brought it back, but yeah, like why? As much as I support Ukraine and most other things, why the fuck is this even happening? It just doesn't make sense. And then that's the other thing, with Israel specifically, there is an issue with how its population is basically on the side of genociding Palestine and Iran, essentially, in Lebanon, or whoever it is that they're at war with. And this really shows how lost as a nation it is, because it's now a majority that literally, you know, just gets worse and worse. Because no matter which way you sort of look at it, this is the problem. It's a population also doing it, which is also a massive problem, because that means they're complicit in this issue, and it means that when or if ever a war is brought to their, obviously, what the fuck is that? What that noise was. Okay, someone next door making stupid fucking noise. You know, if it's like brought to their own soil, then honestly it's deserved. You know, even if innocent people, honestly, the, what is it, 20%, 23% that would, if it's them who are innocent, then unfortunately, I think they just need to evacuate. It's fucking horrific just to be in this situation to begin with, where a country is like against your ideas and also at war. But it's just a recipe for disaster, and I think the best way around it is literally to just get away from there, because it's fucked. Everyone there's fucked. The people who are so insistent on winning said war are fucked, and at some point there's not going to be a nation. There's not going to be an Israel, because at this point there's no coming back from this shit. So that's the other reason. So they've essentially got what's coming to them in terms of war. It's just going to happen, it's inevitable. Sucks, but that's the reality here. What is this around here? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny that an old person saying that you should arrest people who post negative things online is just, it's fucking there. So I might as well just find the post, so I'll explain it better than it was in my feed, and then I commented on it, and people really liked to comment and said, the irony of being sabotaged and insecure, you can't even realise people are going to set up bots to obscure and mock Israel. Obscure results, I mean. Get all people in our positions of power is a lesson here. And then I who had, in this post I responded to, said, we will hunt down anyone who mocks our country online. Yeah, good luck with that. Because it's not going to fucking happen. You're not going to get people hunted down for mocking your fucking country, which is a joke, by the way. Israel is a fucking joke. Just say it outright. You know, I'm a disabled person. But what? Like, I'm smarter than all you lot. I actually understand what's going on in the world and what needs to happen. And I'm not corrupt. So what then? What does that do? It just fucking baffles me. Also, why would I be scared of being hunted down anyway? I don't care, I've already lived my life. I don't fucking give a shit anymore. I feel suicidal every day, but that doesn't change a thing. You're not gonna fucking do anything to me. You're not gonna do anything to people around me. It's just absolute fucking ridiculousness. So yeah, like, people are gonna mock Israel, naturally, because they are a fucking joke. Well, obviously, one, they shouldn't have committed war crimes against Palestine. And two, they shouldn't have committed war crimes against Iran and Lebanon. Simple. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had anything to mock there, literally. There may be some more niche things, like in a discussion or a debate, so maybe people are arguing about religion, and they might bring up, like, oh, Israel has had a long-standing, like, Jewish community and is against, for example, the Islamic beliefs and Muslims. So that will be brought up, not mocked, but discussed. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But at the same time, when you're in this spotlight now of being a war criminal, you are going to be mocked. Much like Trump is, much like Putin is as well. And yeah, what do you fucking expect? And also, it's the internet is free speech as well. Like, it's so fucking out of touch, hence why you should get people like this out of power. They don't fucking belong here. They're ruining the world, they're taking all our money. They're obviously killing innocent people for no reason. Like, you are a fucking joke. You're literally Hitler of today. It's just fucking ridiculous. Again, I say this a lot when I did used to say a lot when I talked about politics, but I almost couldn't have seen another sort of World War situation, or World War II even being repeated. But it ended up happening because, guess what? People just suck and do shit like this, do shit like Israel has, and pick on people weaker than them to get by for some reason. When you can instead accept and embrace people, live peacefully, in harmony, not necessarily accepting their ideas, but respecting each other enough that you can actually get by, not have these conflicts. But no, instead you opted for violence, and now you're a joke. So yeah, get wrecked, Israel. That's all I have to say on that. So well, I just finished boiling the heron, and it's okay. I would say it's like amazing. It's really hard to sort of rate it good though. It's definitely plenty of good things in the movie, but I think there are some bad things too. Because it feels like it's lacking in certain areas, and I'm not exactly sure what though. That's the weird thing. I come out of this confused rather than enlightened. That's the difference between this and any other movies. And also, I better write my word review on this actually. I'll close it. I won't make a mention of it in Face 2026, but yeah, where do I start? What do I start with? I guess the first and most obvious thing is like the story, so yeah, I think this is a bit of a letdown. It's also interesting. I was just confused all the way throughout, except for obviously the beginning, where it made sense. It starts with the war, and then mother dies, and then they go to somewhere else. I forgot where it was actually. They moved from Tokyo, so that's some indication. So I don't know where and Mahito has got a new mother. Essentially, his dad obviously remarried, and having another child. And they go to this place where they live at like a mansion or something with some elderly ladies. and there's a Heron there that is constantly getting Pato's attention. And so he follows the Heron all the way through, and despite things happening at school and his mother, he also gets a scar on his face, which also comes up later. Yeah, he just follows the Heron eventually and tries to hunt it down, and sort of does with a granny alongside him, but only one, called Kiriko. I almost forgot her name. Actually, I forgot until the end of the movie. Actually, it's kind of funny. Yeah, and it's sort of he's sent into a sort of fantasy world and disappears in there for quite a while, and is trying to find a way to rescue basically his stepmother, who seemingly walked into there, and also find his own mother. It's called Hime, I think. So yeah, he's like doing that, and this is where the Studio Ghibli sort of, iconic adventuring sort of begins, and they discover that it's actually this entire fantasy world full of mysterious creatures and interesting people. Well, say people, there's only a few. Yeah, I forgot who that lady was that he first meets in the graveyard. There's so many like interesting things here, and yeah, I'll go into the animation after, but story-wise, it's kind of lacking in a way. Because again, I was just confused, and then there's some magic thing with Hime, Princess Hime, who turns out to be his mother. I didn't even realise. Just a bunch of other stuff, and then eventually discovering like the cycle of life and stuff, and how these weird things are like basically turning into humans by ascending, but some don't get through. It's just weird. It's almost like an analogy for sperm, but I could be wrong. And it does feel quite inappropriate given it's a Studio Ghibli thing. Yeah, very strange, has to be said. There's an interesting bit with a stork who basically doesn't survive properly. Well, he survives, but injured really badly. Sort of asking to be put out of his misery and stuff, and then the Heron arrives, and yeah, it's just some weird stuff going on with this. There's some stuff about like grannies protecting him, and it's like some small doll. As I said, there's like so many weird things in this. Don't make sense. Also, this other character he met who's like on a boat doing stuff, catching fish, feeding these things that are ascending, whatever. I did find that a bit weird though. It's like really graphic. It's so strange. It's quite unusual, I think, for Ghibli. I could be wrong. I don't remember the Laputa too well. This is quite a few years ago now. But yeah. It just goes on and on and stuff into this fantasy world, and there's also an element where the husband is now trying to find Mahito and his obviously wife, and yeah, they essentially can't find them. And there's also a bunch of questioning and stuff, and there's some what I thought was some weird foreshadowing when Mahito finally finds his stepmother. I think it was his stepmother, and it didn't happen, which I found very strange. So it set this thing up as if it was like foreshadowing, and it just didn't do anything. It's like, oh, okay, guess that's not real. Kind of sucks. Kind of lazy writing. Yeah, and it just goes on and on into these fantasy worlds. I don't mind it so much because it's quite mystical. I'll go into that after, as I said. But yeah, nothing really happens in terms of story even until the end, where you do find out something else, but there's an interesting plot twist in that, to an extent. Interesting insight into the world as well, like how it works, essentially trying to explain what life is, which I also find quite interesting. What the fuck is that noise? I don't know where that's coming from. Just going into that, I guess. Trying to find, see these people Mahito's got dedicated to it. He also picks up some things, which also comes up later. I forgot when he picked them up, so that's the thing. Then what else? Try to backtrack here. Yeah, and also like to the climax as well, it's kind of interesting, but also that's where the twist comes in. And then it has some interesting bits at the end, but it kind of ends on a sort of, I don't know, a nice note, but also not really explained anything. So it's kind of shit. It didn't really explain things well at all, and I think that's my main criticism of what this world is and exactly how it works and stuff. There's a lot of things that don't add up. Essentially, it's trying to do Spirited Away without, obviously, this aspect where it's just gotten lost or something. I forgot what Spirited Away actually was about entirely. Maybe there was this like dragon kid and obviously a girl trying to escape this place, I think it was. Just creepy mask things, yeah, I briefly remember it. But it did feel like it's trying to do a Spirited Away sort of thing. I definitely got vibes of that from this, and it seems like they used it as a template actually. I have to say that, it did feel like a template for it. Just set in a World War era. I think it's like the First World War, I could be wrong, maybe World War II. But yeah. So story-wise, yeah, again, disappointing. Characters are okay. I think Mahito definitely is fine as a character. I think he's different, he's unique. Because obviously he's like quite broken by obviously the shit he's been through. Losing his mother and stuff, and also just the way he acts and whatever. But he's still a child inside, and that still has some impact on him, and that's why he's quite unique. That's why I have to commend that, actually. So it's not really a dislike, and obviously the stepmother is okay. The mother you meet later, who seems alright, seems quite confident. The granny's kind of funny. There's also some interesting interactions actually with the old people and me, so I did find those quite interesting. What else is trying to think. Yeah, my mind blanking again, which is annoying. Yeah, what else happened? Other characters, I mean, the Heron actually was quite good. I quite liked him, and obviously it's also going into later, his design is pretty unique. So, yeah, I think it's Heron. I could be mistaken actually. Pretty sure it's a stalker, not Heron. Yeah, there's also some weird stuff like about the Bloodline story. I should remember that now. For some reason there's this big point about Mahito's bloodline, which I find weird, especially given it implies actually it doesn't. No, it's not his father, is it? It's his mother. I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, that was actually explained, but also like what his mother's involvement is, I don't understand that exactly. I do find that a bit weird. What else is there? Again, my mind's just blanking, but I think we should move on from the story aspect and characters. There's definitely some interesting characters, but also some not so much. Definitely think the king is a bastard in the end. That surprised me, but also it's a bit cliche. But I did like the aspect of the old guy, the grand uncle, actually. I did like him. Not really anything else to on that. So let's go into the voice acting. Why not? It's one of the areas because I watched the dub, and it was definitely okay. I won't say it's like over the top, but it is good enough. It does the job, and I can't really say it needs any more than that. In all honesty, I just think it does its job, and that's fine enough for me. But yeah, it's not bad. That's the most important point as well. So yeah, other than that, there's the music. I almost forgot to mention that, and I noticed it this time. I usually notice the music, but it's somewhat gentle and also really atmospheric. It's mainly like piano and stuff, but you do sometimes get multi-arrangements in this. And the music is definitely something. Wouldn't be my sort of thing to listen to. It feels like, I don't know, if I had a commute, will be listening to it, but yeah, it's probably got an appeal somewhere for someone. So it's probably good for that. Yeah, there's not much to say on the music, really. So, what's the other thing? Yeah, we have to go into this animation and art. I could be wrong, but it's probably the best yet. Literally brought me to fucking tears seeing the first few lots of artwork, because it's just like, holy shit. I'm a background artist and I tend to, have my interest in that because it is a niche thing. And, background art is special. It has its place, and it's also so good at setting the stage for certain things too. It definitely portrays a story in its own way. Obviously it's like, you look at the Earth and it's like years of evolution, like millions of years. And that's why it's so impactful. That's why it matters. But yeah, the artwork, insane. Like every single time I saw a bit of background artwork in this, I was just like jaw drops. Even the interiors of all things, just absolute insanity. I've never seen anything like it. So much fucking detail, so many things going on as well. You look at the bookshelves and how many different types of books there are. The kitchens, there's so many things now, like utensils and tables, and even like, it's just so magical. It's so crazy. I've never seen anything like it. It's just so good. And the animation as well is also really good. It surprised me quite a bit in this actually, because there seems to be a mix of like CGI and also 2D in some areas, and also 3D. I noticed there was some 3D in this. Can't remember where though. Hard to remember. Yeah, I do like how they set some of it up too. Just never disappoints, and that's honestly great. I think they should keep up with this style because it is so fucking good. I hope people learn from it as well and start to make things like it. Because we currently lack a lot of decent artwork, especially in this day and age of art, AI art. But we really need people to make Ghibli style artwork because holy crap, it is so lacking. And also I could just appreciate that, much like Studio Ghibli does anyway, they don't sexualize anyone. Yeah, there's no like bouncing boobs, there's no cleavage even showing, at least from what I've noticed. I'm actively looking. Or am I? No, I'm not. But I find it's still such a good style, even having known about Studio Ghibli for years. And it's so special. It obviously holds a great place in my heart, and I still have some of the movies in my my Hall of Fame thing. I have a document of basically the best things I've ever seen in life, in terms of arts and even some interest as well. And they go there because they're special. I want them to remain in memory. If I ever lose my memory one day, I want those things to essentially exist still. Remind me of better days and good days and stuff. And that's the reason why that exists. There's one I still don't know what I've finished. Yeah. Obviously it just goes really hard. Like, it is such a good art direction as well. It's also classic Miyazaki, is it? I'm sorry, I probably butchered his name, but yeah. It's his usual style and it works great here too. Yeah, even despite the story being a bit like lackluster. I'm so curious what people said on IMDb. Boy and the Heron. Let's see. Demetori anime, directed by Miyazaki, Infinite Surprise there. Come on. Hey, is this the list or what? It's got a bunch of credits on it. There's no reviews, which is weird. What the hell? What the fuck is going on? Oh, there it is. Yeah, 7.3 out of 10, it's not surprising, to be honest. I think that's kind of a fair rating. It's a bit more generous than I would have put it, actually. Yeah. fucking photo. It's 207 and 211. It doesn't surprise me. It's so fucking good. Yeah, just scroll through these and you'll see the amount of artwork and stuff. Like, there's pictures of the backgrounds too. They're still watercolour, I think. From what I can see here, again, it's such a good fucking style. Legit, I could pay hundreds of pounds for just a painting of one of these backgrounds or something. It's so fucking good. Oh, this fucking mansion as well. Is it Tower? I think it's Tower actually. It's so good. Yeah, it's just amazing to look at. And the water is actually pretty good in this, I noticed as well. Sometimes anime doesn't do great water. Was it Cloud Check? Obviously a win. Like the Sea Forest area. The graveyard, the library. There's just so many amazing screenshots in this. And just artwork. Just absolutely incredible. It's fucking insane. It captures it so well. Yeah. I don't really know what else there is to say, but that's essentially it. Yeah, I do think that this is a decent movie. I think I can recommend it if you're looking for something to watch. Just don't expect anything special. There's no Spirited Away or no Porco Rosso or anything like that. Or Cat Returns, waitable. No, but it is something, I think. Wait, does that lady have 4 eyes? Wait, what? Just stumbled upon an interesting screenshot. There's a granny with 4 eyes, glasses, and the eyes behind it. That's fucking interesting. Yeah, anyway, I think that does it for this movie, see? Again, it's like a recommendation if you're looking for something to watch. So there's some interesting moments. Ooh, that image of Hime, okay. That's quite interesting. So standing on an island of a house and some ships behind her. Yeah, so that's the movie. Yeah, let's move on. Well, welcome to Brain Whale. So that was an interesting post. It sort of ties 2 things together to talk about the Green Party. So Hannah Spencer, I believe her name is, was recently voted in for, I think, Gordon as the MP. I could be wrong about that. That's a full name. Definitely was voted in as MP, but yeah. What I find interesting about this is they posted to the Green Party channel an interview where she's being interviewed and talking about immigration, and she said the thing that I've been saying. You literally need to be talking about it as if you're outraged as well, but obviously posing it as like a different sort of story, you know, the correct story for that matter. Yeah, she says she's outraged that we spend so much on immigration and yet children in this country go starving each day, which is very much like the perfect way to phrase that because holy crap. I'm honestly really impressed. Like, I'm surprised to see that now. Because I've been saying this for a while, that the only way you're going to get reform voters on your side is by saying these things. It's going to get people thinking, like, what the hell is a Green Party person doing saying this when they're all like woke lefties and stuff. But it might start getting people to doubt their position, which is good, and I think it is working for the most part. Because we're seeing Green take over reform in so many different ways. But then there's an interesting thing that I've noticed as well, which is also, well, unfortunately, the comments. So in the comments, I was curious what were people saying about this, and I might as well look again actually. I don't know if I can find it. I watched a lot of shorts on Monday. Oh god, where is it? So many fucking things. Damn it, where is it? Okay, it's gonna take a while, I think, because I can't find it. This is just goofy stuff. again, it's in my history, isn't it? So that'll be best. Why does it keep taking me to the Yogscast fucking subreddit? Fuck off, I type YouTube every day and it comes up properly. Don't know what's up with Vivaldi recently, it's been a bit weird with that. I also interact with the posts, so I should be seeing it, shouldn't I? There it is. We look after each other, and what does it say? And we work. Yeah, so yeah, there are a lot of supportive comments, but there are also negative ones. So this one I responded to. For anyone who isn't aware, this woman has been paraded by the Greens for a very specific reason. I thought it was because she is a working class hero. Lol. Well, this woman's role in the Green Party is immigration and refugee support. This is a woman that claimed Islamic extremists attack us because of reform's divisive politics. This failed the legitimate liberal form of a viable woman. Yikes. Yeah, so basically accusing her of being, well, incorrect, for starters, and being a refugee supporter, which, yes, technically I think the Greens are. I think you have to be. But what's the problem with that? The thing is, you've made an argument here without actually explaining the problem. You're just saying refugee immigration bad. No context, nothing. So that's already a problem. And then you're disagreeing with the part where she says extremists attack here because of divisive politics. Like, literally, the honeypot fucking thing is they attack because these people have obviously no morals, but they also just think when they're under threat, they are going to attack more. So yeah, technically speaking, it's probably true that under reform, you're going to see far more attacks. This is why you've seen them recently, and they also get more exposure as well. So the ones that get foiled or don't even make the news, they just go unknown. But yeah, it's just fucking incorrect. And then what I said to this, obviously, is that the part about being a vile woman is the fact that she never even said anything about killing people or destroying anyone. Like, she hasn't said anything like that, so the fact you're calling her vile is just fucking horrible, and you're not even describing anything that she's doing that's wrong. No suffering, from what I can see. Like, she's not causing that. Not even saying anything related to it. So she's not a vile woman. You've essentially just thrown words out there without understanding what they mean. Again. I've seen this way too many fucking times. And I responded, the irony of saying someone believes humans deserve human rights as a vile person. It says more about you than the Greens. Like, literally, yeah. It's just fucking nuts. Someone's saying she doesn't dress like a clown. I don't know. And to be honest, I don't think anyone has. Like, even some of the ones I disagree with, so I don't know where that comes from. So many doctors and engineers are kept out of work while they're being put up in hotels, especially all those Afghan gynecologists looking out for the very young females. What the fuck are you on about? So this is the problem with misinformation and why it should be a crime in a way. It's just people say a shit believing what they think is right and not actually backing up with research. Like, what Afghan gynecologists? What the fuck? And you're implying that they're all rapists or something? Because they are gynecologists? What? It's just fucking insane. And this is the same argument as before. They're blaming the migrant hotels, which aren't even the problem. It's the lack of funding. That's the fucking problem. And then also us not getting prioritised. Like, literally, it's terrible. There's no patriotism, but this is just a very incorrect comment. Very ill thought out. There's another saying she is mad, no answers to problems. Nope. She's actually answers things here. I watched the short entirely, and yeah, hence why I brought this up. Because overseas workers that fitted solar panels for the local council, they had to be installed. I think everyone would like a fair system. How fair is it to get a doctor's appointment today, and my wife and I are sick, and our taxes are being used to support lazy people, and let people enter this country illegally? Nope. taxes go towards a lot of things, not just those. So it's not even these specific systems that are being underpaid. This is from what I understand of it anyway. But also, what's the problem with these things being installed by people who aren't even local? Like, where is this argument even coming from? What is it even trying to say? It's just fucking stupid. And people who come here quote unquote illegally, no. Those are the people who come on boats, but they're not even the bigger problem. There are actually so few boats coming over here that we don't actually have a problem with them. In fact, I've been to the coastline recently, and guess what? No boats. I mean, they haven't looked over it, but a lack of police cars, a lack of anything. Yeah, it kind of showing that, yeah, there's not really anything going on there. So no, there's no such thing. And the fact this coastline is also kind of facing towards towards Europe, you know, obviously as it would, as the UK. It's nothing. So it's really fucking stupid. And then people just seem to ignore the fact that they risk everything to get over here. And then you treat them like shit. Like, oh, you're so stupid for fucking escaping your war-torn country and politics, for going over here, suffering through storms and shit. And you just get treated like shit again. Fuck. It makes zero sense. There's zero hospitality or empathy. So again, another stupid comment. Green heart. And there's shut up traitor. The worthless interlopers should be in a tent city almost starving until they are deported. Nope. That just shows zero empathy. I'm just gonna type that. You should be in that situation then. Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking stupid. Again, these people come here illegally because they have no other choice. And then they have to be interviewed, by the way. They have to go through an entire process, which in itself can be costly, just to get any sort of hospitality. So it's not even as simple as like, oh, you're given a phone the moment you land, like people think it is. It doesn't exist. Then what did the other comments say? I'm probably going to stop reading these after a bit. She commutes with her immigrant neighbours so well she had to have advertising and leaflets in a different language just to inform them they should vote for her. What the fuck are you on about? Like, people migrate here. It's not illegal immigration, it's illegal legal migration, that's what I mean. I forgot the word there for a second. But yeah, people try to speak English. Some can learn it, others can't. And guess what? If people can't properly understand English when they're talking about, say, taxes and councils or whatever, all these technical words, they're going to need a translation, essentially. So yeah, like, no shit it's going to have other languages on it, you fucking moron. Like, it's such nonsense. Let's not forget that apparently Reform's Nigel Farage apparently has a German wife, so like, what? Just fucking absolutely batshit insane. Multi-millionaire landlord who lives in Heron, by the way, says this comment, what the fuck do you even mean? Like, who's the landlord? You're not even saying anything, it's just fucking weird. You sound like a Reform candidate. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. It's weird. Let's see. If else, she's not wrong. What else is? She's not wrong. She's not right either in application. We don't have a shortage. We have a shortage of people who already sponge off the government. Let's just getting them off their ass, because before we think about being more people in to fill the gaps. What? I can't even fucking speak, and this is the thing. These are, like, probably British people saying this, and they can't even speak the fucking language. Can't even type it. It's just really telling. And weirdly enough, I've seen non-English speaking people speak better English than these people. and be more formal for that matter. Yeah, fucking ridiculous. I can't really say anything else, but yeah. Absolutely fucking insane. And again, his comments are literally saying nothing and doing nothing. The irony is that, I've said before, I can be easily convinced. I can be anti-immigration, given there is actually a good reason. I'm not talking about the one case where someone raped someone, or even the 10 cases of how many, I forgot how many it is, I think it's 120,000 immigrants. But we're looking at such a small majority here, or minority rather, and looking at the even smaller minority in that. And then we have to also look at the UK, where on average the British person is I think it's 1 in 10 or 1 in 100. Every British person is committing a sexual crime. It's just fucking nuts. People are obviously scapegoating, and I also have to accuse reform voters of being racist and rapists and pedophiles, because they're obviously hiding something. And we've seen this countless times, again and again. We've seen it with the protests, the migrant hotels, even people in the Tommy Robinson protests that happened last year. It's so obvious that people are hiding their true feelings here. They're not even necessarily hiding it though. Some of them just openly kidnap Muslims, rape them. This is the fucking dystopia that they preach and they want to happen, which isn't actually going to solve immigration, by the way. So it's not actually doing anything. It's just going to bolster them and basically put them on terms of Trump and stuff. So they're also Trump sympathizers. They also support something like ICE. They don't actually care about the country. So it really shows a distinct difference. And again, where I can easily be convinced, were there an argument, and there isn't one, by the way. I haven't found one yet. I can't be convinced. There's no way I'm going to this side, and it's not just because of those other issues, it's because there's no truth to it. And I'd like to say immigration problem is real, and we need to address it the way that it needs to be addressed. But I'm not supporting these idiots. I'm definitely not on their side, for example. So yeah, there's a distinct difference between being biased and unbiased here, which again a lot of people just can't grasp for some reason. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know what to add really, but I've pretty much covered everything here. As usual, it's just more of the same shit from before. It's almost like there's AI making this crap, because it just seems like that's what's happening. It feels like the same repetitive shit over and over again. I really do think reform voters are on the side of evil, because so far reform has proposed nothing to help the economy. They aren't actually doing anything about immigration. They're just using it as a scapegoat to fund billionaires and fund themselves through billionaires, and that's it. There isn't really anything else going on. They don't care who they tread on. They just care about getting the money. That's the focus. It's not money for us, it's money for them, just to be clear on that. That's a massive fucking difference. Whereas with Green, there is far less risk. With the Dems, I think there's probably far less risk. Your party's same. I'm not sure about Labour, I don't think they even count anymore because they're pretty much corrupt. The list goes on. Even Conservatives are probably less corrupt than Reform, but they're still really corrupt. But as it currently stands, I embrace the idea of Reform. Just bring it on. Fuck it. The world's going to end anyway, so what's more suffering than to do anyway? I don't fucking care. People will realise that it actually does nothing and then be regretful, much like Trump is. I'm gonna fucking say it. You're all a bunch of retards. I'm just fucking fed up with this. You're so stupid you don't actually see what's in front of you. You don't see these problems. So you don't actually address them properly. It's just a bunch of fucking idiots. Frankly, if it's your ass being apprehended by ICE or whatever it is that's coming here with a apocalypse, I don't fucking care. I'll let you suffer. I'll let you die. That's it. You've done enough suffering for people now, and you'll deserve what's coming. So yeah, fuck reform and fuck reform voters especially. The recent Trump situation with how he posted an image of himself pretending to be Jesus, it really rings true of a thing that I've known has existed for a long while, and that is how religion has been hijacked by the teachings of hate for love. And yeah, one of the things is, given I grew up in a sort of half Christian household, I'd say, because it's divorced parents, so yeah, one side Christian. I have some things to say about it, because not all the teachings were about scaremongering and hate. It was often about love and kindness, or at least some kindness anyway. But honestly, that speaks louder than the parts about hatred, because religion is really kind of a delicate topic to people who are religious, and I think where it obviously gets lost in translation is that people just make it so unbearable. Like, they literally hijack this shit, and well, that's not shit, but depends really. Some it is. They hijack it, make it about hatred, and say like, "Oh, Jesus said this, Jesus said that," when he didn't say anything like that at all. And I think it really rings more true given topics like LGBTQ+ and even disability. Like, there are some really heinous things said by religious extremists, and ironically they're the same type who argue that others are extreme. Like, that's the weird thing. You got like Christians in the UK who are like quite anti-reform, what the fuck am I saying? Anti-immigration, and they're like literally saying to kidnap Muslim girls and rape them, which is just what? Like, it's so fucked up, and this is the sort of thing that they're trying to normalise. And I'm not saying all the people who say that are religious, but they often are. That's kind of the problem. They say that religion is taking over the world, or they can't coexist with said religion. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? If you were actually an atheist, you would have thought, well, we should actually learn to love our neighbour. And that's something that even Christianity teaches. Because there's nothing better than just fucking knowing someone. That should go without saying. Yeah, it's just absolute insanity, really. I need to clear the phlegm out of my throat again. It's just annoying. Yeah, like, with the Trump thing, it's quite obvious that he wasn't on the side of Christianity at all. He was on the side of money, which is not a religion. It's a stance, so it's a state of being. I don't know what to fucking call it. It's just insanely dangerous that this is somehow allowed and somehow normalised. It just doesn't add up. It's all sorts of fucked up here. And that's why it's such an issue. And yeah, it's been hijacked by obviously the belief of hate and the preachings or teachings of hate. Which is where it becomes a massive issue, and it really sucks, because obviously we want it to be good. We want it to be about good things, rather than that. But other than it also being a way to scapegoat, it's also being a way to funnel specific opinions and ideas through that same method. So people might not realise this again, but yeah, the people who are like televangelists and are often like asking for money and selling you things, selling an idea even, they're funneling their opinions and thoughts through religion, which is a dangerous fucking thing. Like, religion in itself is already written, it's already got a foundation, it already has a book associated with it, all of them pretty much do. And that's where we obviously encounter the issues, because Likewise, they come from that. Like, just, it's so fucking insane and just unnecessary. The amount of hatred I see from religion and religious fanatics, for that matter, or extremists rather. So yeah, what do I even say here? It's quite obvious, and I think people really need to wake up if they haven't already. Part of the reason why I'm atheist is because I can't. Well, firstly, I can't even find if there is proof of God. But the other thing is, I just can't find proof that religion is actually like real, not just that, but also reliable. I struggle to find the reasons, and that's why I've been so adamant about not obviously following religion. And hence, since even like just not even going into it, I just see no reason to do it, because at the end of the day, it's been hijacked for starters, and then, as we've seen, it's got the issue now where people seemingly don't even know what it's about. And you have to like read the Bible and stuff to actually understand it. But it's not like the best thing for you. It just fucking sucks. So yeah, like, what do I even add here? It's just horrible stuff. It's been completely hijacked, which is a complete injustice in all honesty. What do I even add? Oh yeah, it's just a sad situation, and obviously the thing with Trump, hopefully people wake up and fucking realise he was never Christian to begin with. It was obvious from the get-go. It was obvious when he started saying it. I remember even back before I even got into politics, he was saying shit like that, and I was thinking, what? You know, it's from channels that are already exploring religion, so you can imagine the amount of red flags that were. So yeah, it's very strange. I don't know what to add. It sucks. So yeah. Anyway, I better move on to this topic. Just thought it is worth mentioning. So this I need to talk about because I started watching it, and I'm kind of interested, to be honest. It's not the sort of thing I usually watch, but it is sort of an area, a niche that interests me. I'm watching Only Fools and Horses. I've heard about this so many fucking times. It's crazy the amount of times I've actually heard this. It may be among one of the most popular British shows, I think, that I've heard about. Up there with obviously like Blackadder and obviously some other ones. I can't remember the other ones actually. That's a weird thing. But yeah, it's quite interesting as a sort of pop culture thing. But I've watched the first 3 episodes. I've got a good idea of what it's about and how it's going to go, but it's also kind of troubling in a way. Not because it hasn't aged well, but because it just has some areas which are kind of like, this won't probably work too well as a joke, and you literally realise that if you actually look through the jokes. And yeah, where do I start? Like, the first episode was kind of crappy. It didn't do much. Some okay things. It was establishing the groundwork, I think, but it still felt a bit lacking in areas for sure. I do sort of wish it did things a little better, like, as in being a bit more funny and having a better story for that matter. But yeah, it wasn't a great start, and it's obviously quite pop culture, which is the only, well, not the only other issue, it is the issue. That is way too pop culture, and I think that is to its detriment to an extent, because it does really feel like they're trying to go for that sort of, I think it's the 80s if I'm not mistaken, but sort of the 80s sort of British culture, and yeah, look, it sort of works in some areas, still relevant in some places, but not entirely. So it's got a very weird sort of foundation to it, for lack of a correct term, compared to something like The Young Ones, which itself has pop culture elements. I don't think it was this bad. And that's really saying something, because I did kind of like the younger ones. It did feel like a show that was reasonably well thought out, had good ideas, and well, an entertaining story and great cast of characters. So I'm also like the characters, like so fucking iconic. It's actually kind of crazy how great characters they were in that. But here it's kind of like the characters are kind of forgetful. I'll be honest. I don't even remember their names. Actually, Rollers and Del Boy. I remember now. Like, again, that took me a while to remember. And that's how like not memorable they are. And then there's Grandad as well, who is interesting. But the story seems to revolve around just 3 characters so far, from the first 3 episodes I've seen here. Maybe there's more to come, but the humour itself is definitely something worthy of criticising, because it lands sometimes and it doesn't land other times. Not because of pop culture, but because it's just more good jokes. And that's the other thing, it has a laugh track. I've complained a lot about laugh tracks in the past, and I still stand by it, to be honest. This proves that it really is unnecessary. These shows do not need it. Yeah, so fuck up there. Not sure what happens. Yeah, I was surprised to see it on the driving. But yeah, I feel like the humour needs a lot of work, in my opinion. It does feel very strange. I just don't find it that funny. If I go through my notes here, I'll obviously write them down for each one. There's some okay jokes, but some not so great. Also, it's like based on gags as well, like hence British humour sort of thing. It's got that angle to it. It's obviously like predominantly British humour. Yeah, that's very weird. A lot of areas. Yeah, what do I even say? Like, I don't think there's much you could do about the humour, to be honest. And I think given the time that it's in, I don't know, like maybe forgivable, but at the same time, you just wish it was better. Like, there was a funny like sexual joke which I liked, which is from Grandad of all people. He basically saying like something we did in the dark, and he's like telling it to Del Boy, and Del Boy's like, "What did she say?" You know what she said to me? She said, "What do you fancy for dinner tomorrow?" Like, that's typical British humour. Like, I like that. It's I think it was niche and its twist turns here. That's a bit better than other bits of humour I've seen. But yeah, that's probably the only one that I've kind of laughed out loud about. Yeah, and then there's a weird, like, I wouldn't say transphobic, it wasn't really that transphobic, because, you know, I consider actual transphobia to be specifically about being discriminative. But they encountered some, well, basically, they called them, these sort of transphobic, yeah, doffers and drag, that's what they said. I'm not sure what it means, doffers, I'm assuming that's like a slang term for dick, I don't know, like people with dicks. I don't know, like, it's very fucking weird, but again, saying they're in drag, it's kind of like, sort of mitigates the issue that I have here. And it's not perfect, but it's something. It's not full on transphobic, although, I don't know, it's hard to say. But episode 3 was definitely the better one of the 3 episodes I saw. It seems to be finding its grounding now, which is good, and it sort of reminds me of my own series actually. I'm writing Quartz Roots. I don't really know what to call it. It's actually a placeholder name, but it reminds me of that because I'm still trying to find sort of grounding, so I had to take up there. And finding my sense of humour too in it. So what else? This episode definitely was more entertaining. The acting seemed decent as well. There's definitely some funny visual gags. I love the fucking statue climax. That's quite funny. Well, when they get it, I mean, the statue rap. It certainly has its niche, as I said. I think if there's a way to go, and I think if I stick by it long enough, maybe I'll see the appeal. I'm not entirely sure that I will. It's not supposed to rhyme. Yeah. Again, it just remains to be seen in terms of how good it is, if it is good. But overall, first impressions not strong, I've got to say. It's just kind of leaning on meh at the moment. It's something that maybe I won't complain if it's on the TV, but at the same time, I just kind of roll my eyes because it's like, oh, alright, this show is doing its thing again, and it's niche as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure. It's hard to say whether I like it at this point. A bit too early. Too many episodes to go for. There's like 9 seasons, which is fucking insane. How you get 9 seasons out of this and the young ones gets, what, 3? That's a bit crazy. Because I much prefer the young ones, based on the humour here. And see the content as well. I think that's also an important part. So yeah, well, I think I better move on. I'm getting tortured in this game, so I'll have to talk about something else next. Being reminded again of another similar topic. Yeah, this came up because of a I can't remember what it was. Is it a post or was it a response? I can't remember who posted or what. But it's about a transphobia sort of situation someone had. Seems to be on their delusions. It's usual with the transphobes. It's really disappointing, but basically they're saying, like, oh, this person is believing a delusion that they're a woman, but they're actually a man. Which is just fucking stupid, as usual. There's just no merit to it, there's no logic at all. And, coming from a former transphobe myself, what the fuck are you doing? Are people really this stupid? I'm quite stupid, but can people really be that stupid? It doesn't make sense. But anyway, I want to talk about that and explore it. So people saying that it's a delusion and that it shouldn't be treated with the way it's currently treated, which is transitioning. But then I have to question, what's your fucking solution? Because the current evidence points to conversion therapy not helping, if there is any conversion therapy for it anyway. I don't think it does cater to it, to be honest, because it's about gender. It's not about sexuality. Fuck is otherwise. So it just feels kind of bullshit, and they seem to believe that there's like this magical unicorn that can heal you of these issues, which doesn't exist, from what I understand anyway. So there's like nothing there. So it's just absolute garbage, like garbo argument. Like nothing there, no solution, which I'd argue is a more important thing. Because if it is a delusion, like people are saying, like, oh, I believe I'm a woman today, and you can't actually solve that problem, why is it not solved then? The honest question becomes, where's the solution? There isn't one. So, what are you fucking saying? So why are you stopping people from getting the only known solution we have, the closest thing to, which is transitioning? So it doesn't make sense. You're arguing almost in favour of transitioning by arguing that there's a delusion here, because you have to give in to that. Like, it's different when there's other things around. I'm trying to think of like another thing that's like delusions, maybe schizophrenia. But it's not even a cure for schizophrenia as far as I know. There's no treatment. So, like, what are you saying? Delusions exist everywhere. It's not just restricted to trans people or people. It's people you fucking put on not a pedestal, but the opposite one. Maybe platform. But you keep doing this, and then it backfires because there's nowhere else that they can turn to. it's just absolute insanity. It's absolute bullshit that this is something that happens constantly. There's no such thing as a delusional trans person. It simply doesn't exist. And even then, I think the person argued, as cunt, also argued that there's no such thing as a third gender or something, or non-binary people, basically. And it very much does exist. Either by choice or by, again, the same thing. These quote-unquote delusions, which don't seem to exist either. That's the other thing. Because it remains to be seen whether these things are delusions or not. I think it's different to think that you're believing yourself as another gender rather than, say, looking at something different like schizophrenia, which is quite a delusion, but then again, what is a delusion? I think that's something we have to uncover here and actually explore. I will do that in a sec when I can. I'm kind of busy. I'm gaming here, and that's pretty much what I do. So yeah. That's what does delusion mean? Even. What does delusion mean? The act or process of deluding, okay, that's not helpful. A state of being deluded, not helpful. A false belief or opinion. So yes, that definition kind of works, but you're saying it's a false belief. Then prove it. What the fuck are you on about? If someone is saying they're a woman, how is that a false belief? It's your choice whether to trust them, sure, I won't deny that. But then you also have to put up with the fact that you may be causing severe consequences, you may be deluding yourself, actually, because this is the other thing. It does seem to be a case where people delude themselves, rather than the other way around. They believe it's a trans person. Because the way that people do themselves in this situation is when they just don't come to accept the fact that someone has an issue, a very real issue, which isn't a delusion, by the way, called gender dysphoria. It exists. It's in the medical field. It's in science. And also intersex people are in science as well. Are you going to call that a delusion? Because as far as I know, and the last I checked, there are intersex people. They exist. Same with trans people are going to exist. And someone thinks they are a woman or a man, whatever it is. It's just fucking ridiculous that this is even an argument. There's literally nothing here. It's a whole nothing burger, I think they call it. Yeah, like what else do I even add? I've pretty much gotten everything down here in terms of finding the truth of the matter and understanding it. Once again, I have to bring up, I used to be very transphobic myself. So, if it's not easy to convince me, then there has to be something wrong, doesn't there? There's something not right about this. As in, there is no truth to what these people are claiming. They say there's no such thing as a trans woman. It's just utter garbage. What the fuck are you doing? And you're spreading misinformation, by the way, which also technically I would see as punishable as a moral crime. Because that is what you're doing. You're spreading misinformation, disinformation for that matter. If you can't get rid of the delusions, then what the fuck? How are you supposed to? Again, there's no unicorn solution here that you're thinking of. It doesn't fucking exist. There's no unicorns. So what the fuck are you on about? And I have to even bring up this issue I personally, which is like autism. I very much have, not really a high level autism, but one that's severe enough that I get mind controlled essentially. Are you going to call it a delusion when I have a meltdown or a shutdown? Are you fucking serious? Piss off. Are you fucking freaks? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you believe this stuff? Why is it so important as well? That's the other thing I want to know. Because even when I was transphobic myself, it wasn't a big fucking deal about my life. It wasn't my priority to expose trans people or gay people or whoever it was. The irony being that I'm actually pansexual. So what do you know? yeah, actually. But it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I don't really know what's to add, but that's about it, I think. So yeah, also it sucks that this is even a thing. It shouldn't even be a discussion, because it's already been debunked, it's already been discussed, and that's it. You know, there's nothing to it. Absolutely zilch. Anyway, I think I better move on. I've got things to do and games to play, so yeah. So let's move on in a second. I'm going to talk about something kind of controversial, and it's about a party podcasts I actually like, specifically the people in them, but there is something that they make that I just don't really get on board with or agree with, because it's so fucking weird. Like, there was this topic I remember now, actually, it came back to me just now. I completely forgot about it until I obviously here. But they had a podcast basically called 0 Degrees, and it's obviously, as the name implies, 0 degrees, as in university degrees, or even just qualifications, really. And that's kind of the appeal of it, because it's kind of like a, less, I would say less educated. They are educated, but not obviously the higher educations, which is a different thing entirely, and doesn't necessarily mean you're any smarter or dumber. Everyone's the same, even if you have that higher education. I've seen plenty of university students debate various topics and just utterly fail on it, so it's not really a pass of like, oh, yeah, we're smarter than you because we've been to university. No such thing. But anyway, 0 Degrees had an interesting concept and idea, but I do have to say some things on it from the time that I did this to it, which was back in, when Genshin Impact was released sooner, so patch 3, 3.0. What year was that? 2022, I think? It's around like after summertime, and I was like doing some exploration stuff, and I was listening to the podcast, just like to do, set up in the background, obviously as you do, and yeah, this podcast really wasn't it. The first few episodes okay, and then I got into the later ones, and there's one about a hotel story where people message in these weird sort of things and get their opinions on it, and I think that's also kind of the issue. It's like topics spawned from obviously viewers, and whilst the Triforce podcast is on this, a podcast I actually really like, and the Mailbag as well, they do, that does also spawn issues as well, in their own way, because sometimes they're really dumb opinions. Most of them come from Pyrian, but some of them come from Lewis, and Sips very rarely has an opinion on these things, or even just weighs in on it. So, yeah, with 0 Degrees, I remember this topic about furries in a hotel, and how they would simply order a pizza just to, for some reason, circle jerk onto it and eat it. Which is a very weird and niche thing, and they had some weird opinions about this on there, because some, I can't remember who it was, it's either Raps or Harry, so the name is, but one of them was saying that, this is just disgusting and they shouldn't be doing that, especially because of the pizza delivery guy who had to deliver it here. Unfortunately, seeing this, which to some degree I agree, it's wrong to do that. But then they're criticising the fact that they're doing this to begin with, which is just weird. And there's just so many weird beliefs on this entire topic. It went on for like, I'd say over 30 minutes at least in the podcast itself. And it still weirds me out to this day because it's just so unnecessary. What people do with a fucking pizza of all things at a furry convention of all things, it's nothing to do. I think it was a furry convention anyway. Might not have been. But it's like nothing to do with you. It's all consensual. There isn't really any problems around it. Wait, what's that? I remember something else of it. apparently they did something in the hallway. I can't remember actually. But, you know, this was sort of a sign of things to come. I remember writing a comment on that, like, I was saying, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, lot? Some of this isn't actually bad, and yet you're also not realising other things. I would try to find it if it were possible, but fucking hell, it's bad. And this sort of led on to my realisation of, actually, I'm not really enjoying this podcast, to be honest. I just don't find it very interesting or funny, because even then, it just wasn't that funny. And then that's the other thing, is this, that I've really fucking detested, especially being as lonely as I was back then. They just always talked about sexual topics. Bro, what the fuck are you doing? It's just ridiculous. You know, this is why I like the Triforce podcast, because it's not always about that. It's about two dads and a Lebanese child essentially talking about things. Yeah, it's not always about sexual nature, but it's fine. But in general, it's like, it's pretty tame, the Triforce. But 0 Degrees, it's like constantly going on to this horny, just bait shit. It's so fucking bad. You know, I thought it was bad enough when, like, Pyrian, for example, would bring up about his sort of Guna bait stuff in, like, Instagram and whatever, which he apparently stops, luckily. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, why? What is even the point? It just doesn't make sense. If you wanted to have a podcast about just sexual things, then why not just make a podcast for that? But the fact that all the topics revolved around it just made it so frustrating and boring, in all honesty. And that's all that ever got sent in. And the thing is, you can't even verify if these are real. This is even back before AI was properly an issue. So we even have more issues now, where AI is going to forge things that potentially don't exist, even forge stories. Which is just even more frustrating. So yeah, like, what do I even say here? It's just fucking nuts. I don't really understand how I even got this bad. Because again, the idea seemed fine. I generally had no issues with the idea of 0 Degrees. It is a good idea. But yeah, it just failed, unfortunately, and I don't really like it. One of the things that got me even making my own podcast, one, I just had too many thoughts in my head, I can't really get out. It's hard to write down as well, that's a weird thing. Because usually I'm really good at writing things down, but for some reason with the things I encounter day to day, they get kind of bad. They get really stuck in my head and I just have to get it out, hence the music being included in this. So yeah, it's just very weird. I don't really know what else to say on that, to be honest. It's like, wow, like, what? It could have been a great podcast, but it just fucked it, sadly. It's not to say it couldn't improve, but it's probably too far and gone now, to be honest. And yeah, that's the other thing with like sexual nature stuff, because it's just not a fun topic anyway. There is nothing to sex. It's quite obvious that everyone here was probably a virgin. Well, I'm just going to say it, not that it matters. But oftentimes virgins will hypersexualize these things, and I've been there myself, that's how I know. And that just feels like what they're doing here, and that's also why it just felt like it didn't feel interesting and feel any good. And people might be saying, how the fuck do you know what sex is like if you've never done it? Because I've asked. I've literally looked it up, I've researched it, and every time I look it up, it's like, people are like, no. You know, sex isn't as good as people make it out to be, it's just a fucking fetishization of it. And I can see that, genuinely, it's just so fucking weird. It's so frustrating as well, because obviously sex is in its own way can be a beautiful thing, but it's also just really, misrepresented, especially in like media and well, here. People portraying these like orgies and stuff, and it's like, why? Like, not questioning the orgies, but why are you fucking putting this in your podcast? It doesn't make sense. And it shouldn't just be about this, that's what I'm saying. It should be about everything else. It should be about education, it should be about restaurants, it should be about valid crash outs or like hell, well, not even go there, but politics, maybe. That's what it should be about, not this entire like sexual stuff, which honestly is like secondary. Even though it does become part of people's lives and also quite prominent. It's not just about that, and that's the problem. I mean, life, obviously, the podcast doesn't need to be just about that, but yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't even. I pretty much touched everything I can here. It's just a topic that really gets to me because it's just falls from grace, essentially. It's not good. I do wish there were like better things happening here. Yeah, what do I even add? That situation was not great for this sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it here and move on. So, something fun I guess I could look at is what do I think of my weeklies for Final Fantasy XIV? Because there's 7 of them that I do now. And you know, they have varying enjoyment, I guess. It depends on what it is. But I almost get done with them almost on the same day. It depends. It depends on other things too. But I guess like, I have to rank them based on enjoyment and not enjoyment. So yeah, like, this is going to be no doubt controversial, and it's also just going to expose me a bit more in terms of why I just don't enjoy the game at certain aspects. Because these feel like necessities or needs rather than wanting to do them ideally. So, given that some point is right around the corner, there's obviously going to be some updates and stuff to weeklies, and yeah, it can be kind of interesting what you experience here. But you know, to rank them, I guess, like, under SD, I'm not situating it. Then do like S, A, B, C, D. So, let's start from the bottom, I guess. Like, I think at the bottom, so I've got the weeklies, I'll explain them all. Blue Mage, Carnival, basically I don't do the other stuff, like the group stuff, because there's no point. Caused arguments before, so there's no fucking point in doing that. Because the community for Mage just can suck ass sometimes, and also it's not fun to play either, so there's no point. So I guess that's the first one. It goes in D tier, because even then, Mask Carnival is atrocious. It is so fucking bad. It's still gimmicky, it's still a slog in some instances anyway. I just hate it. There is no fun in Blue Mage. I genuinely cannot understand how people enjoy it, so Blue Mage goes there, even for both aspects. And I've got every spell, so it's not an issue to complete them or even follow the guide, which I do use, but understanding the mechanics in each fucking stage is just nigh impossible. Because there's so many things to memorise and understand in it. And even then you need gimmicky spells, which completely eliminates the point of Blue Mage, doesn't it? Because you can't use any spell you want, you have to use these spells, both to do the weekly and to do the fucking stage itself. Like, holy crap. It is awful. I genuinely cannot understand who thought this was a good idea. You have to be extremely fucking stupid to think this is a good idea. Other than that, yeah, Blue Mage, obviously not good. Next is custom deliveries, so obviously I do these for the script, and I only found out recently you could get mount tokens, because before I would have ranked it lower had there been no goal, but there is a goal, turns out. So it gets a bit increased, and I do think the interface and stuff is mainly it's reasonably well designed in some cases. Like if I open this, go to custom deliveries, focus catch. Yep, you can show the things on the map, which is great. Satisfaction, and you can click on them to see what you need. And also these bonuses are this thing here to get. So it's got bonus for crafting. So if you do crafting, it's going to increase the amount you obtain. I suppose that I don't know why it's not updated. What? Okay, the interface is just buggy, I think. So it's not right there. Not sure what's going on with that. It's weird. But yeah, it's something, and it gives you a reason to visit them as well. My only issue is that these two, is it? Where's Charlemagne and Elto for some reason require you to be on your home world, which is fucking stupid when you're hunting for basically A trains, S ranks, etc. It's a pain in the ass. It's good to do in your downtime for crafting, at least if you buy the stuff ready and then craft it during the A trains, especially if you're new to crafting. You definitely need it for the gear, I think, if you're lacking gear, I mean. So you need that downtime to essentially process it. What else is there? That actually, because I'm pretty sure there's more. Wait, there's more. The gathering itself, I have to add, is kind of better than crafting, because it gets you exploring and it gets you finding things you never explored before. And it updates your log, so much like crafting log, it does update your log as well, so you've got other things to add to that. Basically contributes to 100% completion, which is a niche thing. It certainly appeals to some people, but not everyone. So obviously it's got this niche, that's sort of the point of it, I think. But the reward is definitely worth it, because you could sell the mount tokens when you've obviously capped on them. You could get about 2 or 3 per week, I think. If you've done it correctly, you need to get 100 or 1,000 quality on each thing, essentially, for it to actually be beneficial. So, yeah, other than the annoyance of it being weekly caps, I guess, not so much. What was it, that thing I mentioned I didn't like? The server thing, definitely an issue. Oh yeah, when you're buying stuff, well, just remember this, when you're crafting, in order to get the crafting materials, you need to buy them. So if I pull up the interface, okay, I need to craft for this water key. Oh, that's why the craft is at the top. So I need to change my fucking thing. Oh god, fucking Spectral right now. So yeah, it needs these railroad repair kit components. So to get those, you need to buy them. Which isn't so bad, but sometimes they use the same icon and you can't view it properly in the shop because it's listed really badly. It's just listed like a fucking weird item. I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's like a list of things, which is a bit stupid in my opinion. And I don't think that's really a good idea. But the other thing is with older content, for some reason they have raw components, so you craft them into the fucking the component kit itself. It's like, what are you doing? It's just blatant misuse of time and effort. It's just so fucking bad. I just do not get it. It just always seemed bad to me as an idea. So I've never really enjoyed that with this, which also makes me sort of lower it a bit. It's not so much a slog, it's just also badly designed. And you can also buy them by mistake. I've done that a few times and been like, what? Why can't I craft it now? I have to... Oh, no I don't. So yeah, that confuses things the fuck out. Great. Cheers, Square Enix, for whatever reason. You're not helping anyone. Fucking great. So I'd have to put that in... A tier. Custom delivery is kind of fun, but not always. It's just mainly a thing there, gives you a few rewards and that's it. It's once per week for 2 things, by the way. It's like 6 per person, that's up to 12. It does show that. Allowances, yeah, shows you allowances. Yeah, it certainly works for that aspect. There's not massive problems, but could be better, in my opinion. Yeah, so next is Faux Hollows. Oh god. Yep, no doubt I'm Mr. Controversial here again. Or mixed controversial as well. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Faux Hollows is a mixed bag. Because on one hand you get funny and enjoyable content, but on the other hand you get frustrating, much like today's content, where it's just like, what the fuck? So, Faux Hollows requires you to complete, for some reason, Unreal trials, which I think is stupid. I personally prefer doing like 5 normal trials, in my opinion, for that. That would be far more enjoyable because, yeah, Unreal trials are a mixed bag because you have to do the extreme versions of content, but with an extra twist on top, it seems. And as we are progressing, I missed a lot of them, by the way, because I think it's only introduced in Endwalker. So, you know, I've missed a lot of the older ones, so, you know, there's no cycling as well, so it makes it a bit fucking sluggish because it's boring. I got bored with the Reef of Snakes one, to be honest, but Tsukuyomi's pain is definitely a bit better. But there's too much of a domino effect in each of them, which I think is problematic. Because the moment one person fails, the rest of you do. Reef of Snakes was like that, and that's partly why I hated it. That's why I dreaded it every week. And the other thing is that you always have to play tank to get into the lobbies themselves, which is also a pain. Because I'm mainly forced to play tank. I played DPS when I first started practicing it, and then I ended up playing tank all the time because nobody wanted to play tank. Tank has too much responsibility. Again, like, what the fuck are you thinking? It's so stupid. So it just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. So that's the problem itself, and I could really only rank this based on both of those Unreal trials because I only started it in 7.3, I believe. Yeah, 7.3. I almost started in 7.2 as well. Progressed with Snakes in about 2 hours, and then progressed Tsukuyomi's Pain in about 40 minutes, I think. Something crazy like that. So it really varies when you start these out and learn them. The guides are helpful, and you do memorise them eventually, but it's possible. I'll say that over the past few weeks, I think I've only had ever since it started rather, and gotten used to it, I think I've only seen about 5 or 6 wipes of how many weeks is this? How many weeks have we been on for? Look all this up. FFXIV patch 7.4 release. So when was that? 16th December. So in the past 5 months, there's been only 5 or 6 wipes, which yeah, if you can obviously compress the amount of I think it's like 5 times 4, it's 20. It's just like a wipe every few weeks or so. It's just not too bad, in all honesty. Better than Reef of Snakes, where I think, even though it's harder to wipe in some ways, it mainly relied on the tanks being right, and you would often complete it anyway if the tanks were doing their job, which luckily we were, and we succeeded. So I'm using the wrong beat. I don't think I am. Nope, I'm using the wrong bait. For fuck's sake. Yeah, so where would I put Faux Hollows? So the other thing with that, this is the other thing I detest about Faux Hollows. The fucking game itself. Because you have to find the sword for a retelling, which I think is also very stupid. Another stupid game design choice by the genius Square Enix. So it just doesn't make much sense, in all honesty, to have that. So that makes it bad. And then you have to rely on other things. So the RNG of being able to fill it out, I use Faux Hollow Solver to figure it out by, where is it? It doesn't say, it should say. Created by Joshua Ian, so I use this one. And it really helps, but sometimes I've had it where I just get really unlucky. And I've started to learn to play the game a bit better, but it's still not great in my opinion. I think, for example, the fox should always appear. That should be a starter for the tiles. And what's the other thing? I think your RNG with like gift boxes and coffers should be better as well. Because sometimes the sword isn't useful. So the first time you do it, you have to get the sword. Second time, you don't have to. You could gamble for the fox, well, that's not recommended. A safer option is a sword. But also, you have to gamble with getting the sword to begin with if you're lucky enough. So the other issue with that, if you get a really bad fucking set of tiles, field tiles obviously, obviously creates a bigger impact, then you'll be as unlucky because you have to guess where the sword is first, and then you waste so many tiles that you just lose the coffer in the end. You lose the box / coffer, and it's like, what the fuck's the point? I just got 15 leaves for this, like, so little of a reward. And at worst, you'll probably get like 40 per week, which isn't enough, in my opinion. I think the rewards are way too small. And given that there's so many things to buy with it, it makes 0 sense. I've still got to get half the mounts, I've still got to get the minions and the orchestration rolls. I'm going to be playing this for years, I think, which is fucking annoying. It's like, Jesus Christ, increase the rewards please, you fucking idiots. It's not hard. All you have to do is times, use math to figure it out. And that's it. I'll be fine with the game if it was more generous, but no. At the moment it's an agonising part, and then my time is wasted because players can't do it properly, other mechanics, it depends really. It just gets frustrating. I didn't explain today's, did I? So yeah, I don't like the game itself, but today's Tsukuyomi's on room was interesting. Basically someone took the stack during that phase, the fan phase that surrounds you, into the side, rather than where it first started, which is where you always track it. And it seems like it was a fake group with a fake duty complete, because when they relisted it, it was in grey. Was it in blue or yellow? It was grey. So they would obviously put in description rather than tick the box. So that was suspicious. So possibly just carried someone, but it's not too much of an issue in my opinion. Because obviously it's fine to learn, but I don't think anyone would join if you're a learning group. I think that's the problem. But even then, it's only like 2 players that are learning, so it's not a big deal. It's 1 DPS, 1 healer, I believe. But we managed it after 1 wipe and players leaving. Alakazam there. What the fuck? Oh god. Run away. Don't listen to that. Yeah, I don't like this group, and then we had a few deaths in the second try, which we did complete, yep. And the third, obviously, we completed. But my god, I do not like Faux Hollows one bit. It's not good. It's still poorly designed. I don't understand how you fuck it up. And even then, the rewards are not even that great for what you're doing anyway. So, come Shadowbringer Trials, like, what the fuck are we going to expect? It just seems insane to me. Like, they cannot fucking expect us to complete that and be happy with the rewards. Like, fuck off. Absolute jokers. So anyway, Faux Hollows, I think it's easier. Yeah, as I said, doable, but it's not fun. And it's probably more fun than Blue Mage, but less fun in other ways. So that's why it goes there. Yep, I can piss off. Next in the list is Monoit's Cap. So I do this through the endgame stuff, and I do that for a reason. The expert and level cap dungeons are the fastest and most reliable. However, I don't have all day. So when it comes to something like that, if they're high level dungeons, you're not guaranteed, or high level doesn't even reward Monoics for some reason, but the reward for that is stupid because the little amount you get from these, like even look at the Knights raids, the raids for some reason don't give any, but the Knights raids do. But it's not enough. It's shit. And then you look at Dawn Trail, for example, which I'm pretty sure rewards more. 15 20 versus 12 and 10. Even then, the war rates actually reward them. So there's no fucking point in doing that. No point in doing these roulettes unless they increase it. To be fair, the alliance rates reward enough, but again, I don't really have time and I want to vary it up. But the problem is I don't get dungeons or content that's relevant to my level, so the other thing to know about this is I play every single role in the game, every single job. I just recently played Warrior, so next will be White Mage, so say I go to an Alliance raid, or maybe even normal raid. Normal raid might be quick. Yep, very quick. But it's going to vary in terms of how completable it is and how fast it is. So is it going to be Dawn Shower, is it going to be Shadowbringers or what? Like, Alexander, okay. I think someone picked the wrong raid because there's one currently for the Morpendium. Yeah, Art of Creator. Yeah, this one's going to take a while. So, this might be problematic, but, you know, doing this stuff is okay for some of it. Also, I'm playing White Mage, so I'm going to fucking suck. And got the flower yet, so it's a bit bad. But in terms of practice and stuff, it's not great, and if I did do it like this, I'd need to actually have to, what am I thinking, need to keep playing. So, for example, I'm playing White Mage now, I'll still need to play it later. Because of this shit. That's fucking stupid. Also, I'm playing it like I'm playing at level 74, which is a problem in itself. Excuse the bad gameplay, wrong button. I don't really know what to do. So this content becomes a bit of a slog in the end. And I just don't really enjoy it that much. So yeah, that's why I mainly don't pick roulettes, because everything else is just not good. It's not a good representation of content. Like, where's the AoE stuff from it? How am I supposed to practice a rotation like Ninja, which is very fucking niche, on this? Like, what? It's just nuts to me. It's insane. There's no way you can look at this and think it's fine. That's weird too with White Mages. Fuck. That's bad. So yeah, it's just not good. So I'd have to rank this quite mid, I think. But I do enjoy like expert and level cap, because they're mostly easy and everyone's doing them. But you get the most from it as well. You also get mathematics, forgot about that. You can spend that on stuff. Obviously, get that onto shits. Let's see, buy like the Historia gear, I believe it is. Is it Historia? Don't ever have stuff here. Yeah, Historia gear. So, Polygon is the new one. Also, what happened to the tank? Fuck, distracted it. Also, the tank isn't taunting. Why does this keep happening? Play your tank, you fucking morons. It's so stupid. I don't know how I didn't get aggro. Yeah, that's weird. Also, the tank needs a limit break here, so hopefully. So B tier, I guess this would be Nomics. And also, I just hate how little reward is. Because if it was doable in one day, I might consider doing the roulette. But it's not. So what's the fucking point? I'd just rather do it daily. I'll go on a few hours each day and just do shit, as I plan to do in the future anyway. But it's just ridiculous. I genuinely cannot justify this crap. It's so bad, it's so miserable too, depending on what it is. So I just don't want much to do with it anyway. So yeah, next is Wondrous Tales, which believe it or not this can tie into. So yeah, Wondrous Tales is enjoyable, I'd have to say, and get the fuck out of the raid, you nuts! Fuck's sake. That's what I hate sometimes. Yeah, someone's gonna die there. Yeah, but, you know, it can be enjoyable, it depends on what you get. Sometimes you get stuff like old content, which can be okay. Sometimes you get this content or something which is doable solo. I say anything Stormblood and below is doable soloable. Or solo, I mean. Everything else, not really. And that's just like the RNG aspect. And I was in for a shock when I completed Dawn Trail and got an update to Wondrous Tales, because it's always like Heavensward and stuff. Yeah, you could do it all unsynced, which is kind of crazy. Also, it wasn't my bad, was it? I didn't pay attention. Rip. That's weird. Yeah, so, like, what else is there? I guess some of the tolls are a bit stupid. The fact it requires some more up-to-date stuff. Like, for example, it gets you into, what's it called? What's the content? I'm trying to think. Shadowbringers and Extremes, that's it. Extreme Trolls. Which is a problem because people are farming it for mounts. But people are just going to go in there, kill it once, and say, job done. And they leave. It's like, oh, great. You're not here to farm mount, you're just here to farm Wondrous Tales. So no, there's no reason to do it. And even then, for some of the other stuff like PvP, it's fucking useless. There's no point. Yeah, it's just utterly pointless, a lot of these tiles here, and I just wish they would improve. So yeah, but that's only half the game. The other half is awful as well. Much like Faux Hollows, it's RNG garbage I just do not get. Just genuinely doesn't make any sense to me. It's never made sense. The free tile system, free tiles, I mean, 4x4, and it's just garbage RNG all the way through, which I don't understand. It genuinely makes no sense. Because I just want to be over and done with it as soon as possible. So it annoys me, like, massively. So yeah, like, what the fuck? What's the deal? I do not get it. And why do they stack? For fuck's sake. Ah shit, I don't know what to do. I haven't got any abilities. That's what I mean. I'm using the wrong one. Fuck, I'm an idiot. I'm gonna have to wait for something, I think. Yeah, the tank needs to survive, I think. Yeah, Red Mage doesn't have res. God, this is scary. There we go. So much shit going on. So yeah, the tall thing, and then you have to get matched like 3 lines and stuff, which is just so mind numbing. What is this mechanic? I don't remember this. Oh, is that, yes, those things, okay. So it's the interesting thing, I think. Like, don't go near me. For Christ's sake, I hate this raid. It's too overtuned. Yeah, like, what do I even add? Like, the lining up system I just do not like. It's not fun. It's not interesting or anything. It just makes it makes it up a slog. It's really bad. Like, it really should change. No way we're wiping. I'm just gonna fucking leave. This is stupid. I can't cope with this. Too many wipes or anything. Let's tank up ASAP. Keep us soft seals. Keep that blue mage, red mage alive, I mean. Yeah. It's so fucking old doing this sometimes, as I said. Don't, you fucking idiot. So I'm gonna have to drive more, I think. I'm gonna have to run, because it's like that. Yeah, so I hate the free line system as well. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, in my opinion, it just doesn't work. It's too hard to match. You need more things for it. You need it to work that way. It just doesn't work, in my opinion. It does need some massive improvements. Yeah, like, what are you supposed to do though? The rewards are shit. It's too many things involved. It's not good. at all. It's really just difficult. Okay, can revive again. That's just with someone else's answer. So I'd put it in A tier actually, because even then it's fun to do if you can unsync it. There's less stakes involved, there's less effort involved. I'm gonna miss gate at this point, fucking hell. Fuck. Yeah, Bunch of Stale's definitely an A tier for me. That leads on to the next thing, which is, I believe, Gold Saucer. So, interesting things with this. Give me a comment, please. I carried your asses. I'm leaving. No, I got none. Fuck's sake. Yeah, so Gold Saucer is another thing for me, and it's not good either. So there's different issues with Gold Saucer. I've been through it in this podcast as well, and it's so fucking annoying. Gold Saucer basically is pain. I think there are so many things to improve that it just feels impossible. I feel like there's too many things that need to be fixed and be improved, like removing chocobo racing as a win condition at least. They should change that. Making it more accessible in other ways to Fashion Report. Also, technically it's into this, but it's also secondary because it's sort of a weekly grind thing. But the challenge log stuff I'm mainly talking about here, that's why I say it's weekly. But the rewards for some of it, I guess, are okay, but not great. At a certain point it gets boring. It's just not fun. So, yeah, I have to rank it quite low. As a result, like, even Fashion Report kind of sucks. You get 4 tries, which is nice. Not 3 tries, technically, after the first one. And that's the only good thing going for that. But everything else is just kind of bad. Air Force 1 is bad. Leap of Faith is very mixed. Cliffhanger is good, I will say. Triple Triad is not as fun as I thought it would be. It just became boring and annoying with the rules and stuff, because it's just an RNG game at the end. There's no fucking strategy to it, which I struggle to believe is actually a thing. The gates are not always great, especially if Slice is right, and anyway the wind blows. It's just not good. So I'd have to put it in D tier with fucking Blue Mage. Yeah, it's just miserable. It's not fun content at all. I look at this and I think, this is really inaccessible. I don't know how anyone could design it. So, yeah, so tier list. Currently nothing stands at S tier, for the moment anyway. But that's my opinion, at least. What things could be S tier though? I'm trying to think. I don't know actually. I wouldn't consider like the endgame stuff like Eureka any good, because that's always been bad. I don't know, but I think I need to move on from this because my throat's hurting. Yeah, Gold Saucer takes here, so yeah, basically the weeklies are mixed as per expected. So yeah, not the greatest in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on. Actually, no. Do an outro or not. Yeah, thanks for listening. See everyone next time.